Night Springs, a special place, a shifting space, existing in a countless number of parallel realities. Sometimes a quaint small town, sometimes a hulking metropolis. Different every time we set upon the road that leads us there. And yet, like a half-remembered echo of a fading dream, always familiar to us. These are the stories that take place there, or inspiring, in macabre. Night Springs.
Welcome back, guys. It's Bunzilla from Electra Buntastic. Get comfy, grab your snacks, and let's talk about Alan Wake 2: Night Springs. Within the first few minutes of play, we can notice positive changes in many aspects of the game. Due to improved optimization, it is much faster and smoother, which is clear from the moment game loads. There's no more loading of various items, and walking through objects has disappeared. Only walking through bushes and grass remains, but that's normal. Objects no longer fly in different directions when you approach them. Textures are more pleasing to the eye with their brightness and detail, and animations are smoother and more pleasant. Transitions from dark to light areas are no longer jarring on the eye, making the picture more comfortable. The direction in which you are moving is also clearer, and navigation elements are more organically integrated into the environment. There are plenty of consumables in all parts of the add-on, and there is no need to worry about running out of inventory. Speaking of enemies, the gunfire is no longer a bloody mess, and the shootouts all have started to look a little better and more believable. The first part of the expansion, Number 1 Fan, is a 3-person shooter, more like a fanfic with Rose and her crazy obsession with Alan. Quite atmospheric and fun part allows you to relax and have a bit of fun. In the parts course there is a burning motorcycle track that leads the player through the forest, and it fits perfectly into the environment. The variety of weapons here is not much, but there is everything you need: a shotgun for a classic, relaxed game and a hunting rifle for more demanding gamers. Enemies in this part have to be killed, and there's no way of getting around them, but they're not difficult. They are still quite polite, miss with axes, and are pretty slow to approach. The enemies are the same as in the original game, but without the darkness, and you don't need to shine a light on them. The mini-boss is a bit more serious than the usual enemies, has darkness and shoots bombs, but he surrenders with little effort.
He needed me, now and forever. After all, I am his number 1 fan.
The second part of the expansion, North Star, is a horror shooter with Jesse, the protagonist of Control, another game from the studio set in the same universe, with an atmosphere similar to the original series of Alan Wake games. It skillfully builds up suspense, keeps you in tension, and makes you think. Interesting puzzles appear, with a bit of the old game's feel. Polaris, a circle of bright light, guides the player, and it works. Not always though. Gamer only has a gun and a flashlight in their arsenal, but that's enough. The enemies are much fewer than in the previous game, but they are a little more difficult, and there are no mini-bosses. They are the same as in the original game, and you have to unleash the darkness from them before they take damage. Stealth also appears at the end, but it's not played very well. You can't turn off the torch, you can't duck, and enemies can turn at any moment, making it difficult to get past them.
Yeah, this looks completely normal. Here goes nothing. I'm trusting you. Huh. That wasn't...
The third part of the expansion, Time Breaker, starring Sean, is more of an exploration game, as it is based on the story. It is also the most experimental part, as it brings together a lot of different styles, from classics to comics to text quests. Puzzles are also present here, but they are not complicated at all, so you can relax.
You better not mess with my gang, or you'll be messing with Oopie Goopy, General Munchkin Man, Lil Jim Bob, and worst of all, Larry.
3 items represented weapons in this part: revolver, torch and time breaker solidifier, TBS. The latter is like Alan's light-stealing device from the original game. There are almost no enemies, and those that are there are no threat and can be ignored. This part is prominent for those who want more story and less stress.
Yes. Sean, I'm really happy. Let's talk. I love your instinct on this, but we can still push this further. Immerse ourselves into this story. Believe in it. Make it crazier, wilder.
As for the plot, I would like to share a little of my opinion. I didn't really like the first part of the expansion, more because I'm a fan of the original thriller atmosphere. The plot is cute and interesting, but it also begs some questions. Does Rose really write books? And do all the events in them come true, as they do for the other authors? The second part of the expansion looks very cool at first, but the ending leaves questions and feels underwhelming. However, the twist with the coffee is quite interesting and fun. Also interesting is the concept of how the coffee echoes the horror, adds a special twist to the piece. The third part of the extension illuminates many of the plot twists and turns, while raising new questions about the lore of Alan Wake. The ending is not as spectacular as the beginning of the Night Springs series, but it is intriguing enough. Thank you all for being with me this time. I would be happy to know some of your thoughts about Alan Wake's Night Springs in the comments. Feel free to write anything about your feelings of the video. I'm deeply sorry for the long delays between videos and will try harder in the new year to reduce them. Have a nice and comfortable holiday season. Love y'all.